Hello, everyone. Welcome to All Devs. I don't know if you can hear me well.
Yep.
Amazing. Happy to have you guys direct from Berlin Blockchain Week. I can report you guys a few news from the front line. We're missing you first thing, but I mean those of you guys who are not there. But Luis from Aragon one spoke to this morning and had a great panel in the afternoon on main stage. And Yalda also had a time speaking shortly after lunch, and so like Aragon has been invading the main stage here at Web3 Summit for now, which is really cool. So that's good. That's always good news. So maybe we can start. I think the agenda is pretty light, if not empty, for today. Um, Note that the notes are linked. Let me know if you guys have the link for the notes for today in the chat. I will link it again just in case. Is anyone willing to take notes?
I could do it.
Yeah, Gabby, thanks so much. And maybe Arthur, could you help? Quasia?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, thank you so much. Maybe we can start with the updates then. Let's start with maybe Brett. You want to give the Aragon was update?
Sure. I do not think we have Jorge on the call, and Faku is currently on vacation, so I can fill on their side as well for things related to the Aragon court.
Yep. Sorry. Sorry, I'm interrupting you. So we have Jorge here. I'm just with Jorge at the Airbnb.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
You.
Okay. Good day. Cover. But yeah, for the most part, we have been just focusing on 0.8. We're hoping to get 0.8 out before the end of the month. This is August, yeah. So hopefully that's really only giving us in the next 2 weeks. We're progressing quite a lot on the apps. Almost all of them, or like the three main ones in Aragon apps, are ported over. They are, they're mostly done, let's say, and now we're focusing primarily on a few other details related to the client and designing the new onboarding experience that users will get to use. The new templates that are coming with 0.8, that hopefully will make it much easier for people who are new to Aragon understand exactly what each of these templates do, are being audited, and we're basically waiting for consensus diligence to come back with us with anything that they find. That should happen in this week. And then, otherwise, I think we can pass it off to the network side of things. Jorge?
Working? Oh, sorry, guys, we were muted. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. So I was saying that we are doing like some mild refactors and cleanups of the code base now that Faku has gotten quite involved in the project as well. Everything's progressing quite well. We're currently looking at the SAM tree once again, but it's looking good. Other than this, I'm gonna be doing a presentation on the core and the plans for the launch at DAPCon on Thursday, I believe. And yeah, progressing.
Yeah.
Yep,
That's all. Got it. Cool. Awesome. I'm curious if it's an internal deadline for at the moment, or do you guys have an ETA, a precise ETA for 0.8 and in general?
Yeah, so internally is definitely before the end of the month. We are definitely hoping sometime middle of next week. We will see whether or not that's realistic throughout this week. Essentially, right now we are building. Basically, the biggest thing is onboarding, and it's really when that lands that we can call it a release. So all eyes are pointing on that.
Awesome. Sounds great. Sounds great. Great. Then maybe we can move on and have Arthur updating us or someone else from Otart.
Yep, hi. So this past cycle, we finished review response to the Forwarder API and cleaned up the app metadata, so that should be ready for review now as well. We also implemented Forwarder API changes in our apps and started work on front-end event triggers. We've also updated 2 of our apps to the new design system, that's dot voting and address book, and we've continued the work on the security audit engagement. The last app we need to deliver there is allocations, which should be done in the next day or so. And then from there, all we need to do is make the changes based on their recommendations, which we're mostly done with. We still need to do that for allocations when we get that back, dot voting and projects. But right now, we're thinking that those changes will be handed back to them before the end of the month, assuming that they get us the initial audit feedback for allocations and dot voting in a timely manner. Since we have the only one that we currently have the response for is projects. Going forward, our focus is going to be on the audit changes. Then we were planning on starting work on organization settings this last cycle, but that got bumped. So that's going to be a primary focus for this cycle. And we also want to, this is more John's side of things, but solidify a plan for the initial IPFS work. In addition to those elements, ideally we'll have time to put together a continuous deploy process, which we think will be good for our dev experience, and then look into the initial planning and work for more robust voting settings and insights, or voting insights rather, not settings. So yeah, that's our update. John, is there anything you wanted to add?
Not really. That pretty much got it. Yeah, I guess over the last 2 weeks, I've just been digging more into Aragon storage and what different people need in terms of storing things on IPFS and storing JSON blobs from the Aragon client. So hopefully this week we'll put out a little doc over maybe a 2 or 3 week little batch of code that we can do, or a little sprint cycle to come up with a solution for storing JSON blobs on the client. Yeah, so that's kind of a work in progress. That's it.
Thanks a lot, Arthur and John. Very good question. Once the audit is done with Open Enterprise, Arthur, do you have a guess estimate on when you would like to have Open Enterprise released on mainnet and all that?
Yeah, our current target is early October. But that's a pretty conservative target. We think that the audits will be wrapped up. Obviously, we need to give the feedback to them in terms of the changes we've made by end of month, and then they'll have a week to basically go over our changes and compose the final audit. And then from there, we have some front end changes that we need to make still. So yeah, we think that we'll have I guess we'll probably have a test deploy before that, but our main target for mainnet is early October.
Great, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, Gabby, is it you updating on the Mesh's side?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I have a quick update. We've been iterating in the last release from the Aragon CLI and have some feedback from the community on some of the things that was not working correctly and some other additions they would like to have. And a mature change and refactor is been doing by Daniel in the Aragon CLI, and it's going to be a release maybe next week or the other one. This will include changes in the to have the CLI extension, and we are really excited to see how it goes and how the community start doing their own CLI commands for applications. So really excited about that. And yeah, other than that, we've been also trying to deploy a new Aragon recently and doing some research with one Hive guy for the hackathon ideas for doing a sidechain for Aragon. So yeah, that's our updates.
Great, awesome. Thanks a lot, Gabby. Very excited to see what you guys are going to pull out from the hackathon. Yeah, maybe we can make room for Aragon Black now. For yeah, Aragon Black. Sorry.
Yep. Hi everyone. So on our side, in the past 2 weeks, I did a huge cleanup of the whole fundraising repo, like the packages, the mono repo, continuous integrations, things like that. So that everything is now ready for the experimental deployment. We hope to it during the blockchain week. We also had the pool contracts finally merged into agent. So I also updated all the contracts and tests to use agent instead of the pool contract. I've also updated the kit to use the new kit architecture designed by A1. It was kind of a pain in the ass, not because of the architecture, but because of like too many things to install, too many parameters to pass, but it's finally there. And yeah, it's on the V0.2 branch right now and testing and working well. Also done some quick review about the pre-sale contract that we will integrate in the fundraising application as soon as we have done the first experimental release. Dim and Xavier, so Dim and Xavier have mostly kept on working on the front end for the fundraising app. Dim has been working on the front end for the new template for the new pre-sale contract. Basically, it's going to be only one front end, the fundraising one, but it's going to switch from the pre-sale front end to the actual fundraising front end, depending on where we are in the fundraising process. So yeah, Dim has moved forward on implementing this front end. So yeah, everything is almost ready for the experimental deployment. We still don't have the second batch of feedback from the audit. So given that it's an experimental thing, and on Rinkeby we'll probably deploy without the feedback and may make the update that we may need to do before the mainnet release. So yeah, everything is more or less ready. We are still polishing the front end. There are still a couple of bugs. Obviously, the front end won't be as polished as we'd like for the experimental release, but everything will work. Basically, we have the whole background script logic is now working. We can fetch the stats correctly. So now it's mostly about polishing the front end, decimal stuff, fetching the price, make sure that everything's working well. So the goal is we're going to be the three of us in Berlin Blockchain Week, Xavier, Dim, and I, starting tomorrow. So the goal is to act as much as possible to publish an experimental release during the week. And yeah, I think that's it.
Thanks a lot, Olivier. Thanks very much. Yeah, on my side, on the association side, mostly like daily operations and running for the association. A few things to like maybe more that are noticeable. We've been slowly deploying working groups. Working groups are now added to the wiki as a section. We still want to put some work into it and make it more detailed, but anyone is available to provide kind of presentation for his working group and detail it and append it to the wiki. And there are also a few working groups available, and the Aragon chat, Aragon strategy, especially has been running for a few weeks now. I invite you to check it out, check the notes in the wiki, and check what has happened there. And otherwise, we've been working a bit on trying to pull off some meetings during Blockchain Week to get all together physically and share. And those who will not be there, we've been missing you, and we'll be probably like trying to sum up a bit what was said there. I hope and expect we'll have a bit in-depth conversations on different topics. So very excited to see what comes out of these meetings, these Aragon gatherings, and really looking forward to it. And yeah, I think that's it. The week after Berlin, the NestDAO should be implemented, and we'll let you know about these things too. That's from us, my side mostly. Then we can move on to discussions, guys. One thing is like so basically I said agenda is pretty light in terms of discussions for the week. Do you guys have anything you want to come up with, any topic or that you want to coordinate on, or is it empty for this week?
I had one thing that we can perhaps start with, and it's just that whether or not we should make this more formal as a working group. I think all of this predated the working groups, but now that we have that type of infrastructure, would it be worth it to kind of encode some of this all devs grouping into like a development working group of some sort? I don't think there'd be that much change, but perhaps it's more of a formality thing if we want this to be under that umbrella.
Yep. I think that's a very good idea actually, especially if we also it can help to set an example for a working group that has been working for some time now, and probably like a way to also like expand the current functionalities of the all devs in terms of having more like an internal. I mean, we already do that on the dev channel, but see how we want to if we want to make something the all devs evolve in one or the other direction. I think and that's also like one thing I was thinking about when I was doing my update, which is kind of not related to the product or any technicals. It's more an update from the association. So I'm wondering if this update should happen in this group, or because up until now the all devs always had this kind of status update function, and maybe this is something that we want to keep having. But yeah, I'm totally into formalizing a bit more all devs as a working group. And one question I would have then is like, would it be the product working group weekly call, or?
Yeah, I would definitely split product from the development. I think product, those conversations that happen before we get into development, and then we can update each other on exactly how development of certain items are going, especially if we need coordination between people.
Yeah, definitely makes sense. Then maybe Brett, we can work on kind of formalizing what's the role of all devs and make a proposition on the forum. And so just like moving on, I would keep being the moderator and the facilitator for the group, but this can change in the future. And I don't know if anyone has an opinion about that. I mean, we will definitely share about it on the forum too, so we can discuss that on the forum. But if anyone wants to add on top of that. Yeah, then sounds good. Sounds great. I think I really invite you guys to get involved more, or start thinking a bit about working groups that would interest you. I know that Gabby is actually working on the research and the research working group, and we'll kickstart the effort, I guess. If anything interests you, what's nice with working group is that you guys can it's opt-in, and you guys can join whatever working group you think is relevant for you to join, and it's pretty open. So yeah, feel free to join any. Otherwise, if there's no other topic, is there anything left we want to talk about? All right, guys. Then it's a short all devs for today. We'll see each other in 2 weeks, and yeah, lots of good things happening in between. Maybe 0.8, the gatherings of this week, and so yeah, in 2 weeks will be an exciting time to share about all these things, and already looking forward to it. So thank you for joining, guys, and have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye bye.
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 Bye, everyone.
Bye bye, guys.
Bye.
See you.